Good afternoon, everyone. Kindly open your cameras before we start. Hi, Kyla. How about Gio and Jean? Please open your cam. This will be our last meeting, okay? Our synchronous class. Because next week, I will just give you a learning material as additional reference or coverage of your exam. Are you already aware of the examination week? Do you already know the date? Hello, alam niyo na ba kung kailan?
Opo.
Okay, so review well ha. Kasi ang coverage ng exam natin, from week 1, cover to cover tayo. From week 1 to 15 or 16 I should say kasi magbibigay ako ng learning material next week. At next week, learning material lang tayo, hindi ko na kayo i-meet. So, use your time to do all the activities you've missed. Yung mga kulang-kulang na mga activities nyo, tapusin nyo na, okay? Kasi after final exam, dire-diretso na yun, computation, submission na ng mga grades ninyo. Okay, house rules natin. Always open your cam. Mute unless called for participation. And if you have any idea, question, clarification, just raise your hand. Okay, everybody open your cam. And I'm going to present to you the PowerPoint. Is my PowerPoint already visible?
Yes po, ma'am.
Thank you for the response. Okay, our topic is about the learning material last week. It's about global migration. I know you already know or you already have the knowledge about migration. Ano ba yung tinatawag nating migration? Sige nga, si Kyla. Naalala nyo ba yung topic natin? Nung last tayong nag-meeting, migration. Isa ito sa mga issues kaya naapektuhan yung ating population or global demography, right? Ano ba yung migration? Ulitin natin. Nakikita nyo naman yung picture. Ayan. May mga connections na mga lines. Ano ba yung migration? Kyla?
This is an ongoing movement of people from one country to another po, ma'am.
Very good. That is moving from one place to another. Not specifically from a country to a country because there are different kinds of migration. We have internal migration and international migration. Internal migration within the country and international migration, as what you've said, moving from our country to the other country. Okay, very good. Now here, after going through this learning session, I am expecting that you will distinguish the different global civilization categories, analyze the political, economic, cultural, and social factors underlying the global movements of people, or also what we call migration, and also reflect on the experience of OFWs. Okay, next slide. Okay, let's have first a review. What do we mean by demography? Geo. Ano yung demography? Again? Geo. Geo. Okay, how about Jean?
Demography is a field in statistics that is concerned with births, deaths, income, or the incidence of disease.
Okay, thank you, Jean. In short, this is the study of human population. Kung paano lumobo, paano nababawasan yung different issues like mortality rate, fertility rate, birth rate, and also as well as that population growth. How about global civil society? What do we mean by global civil society? Gio, are you already with us? What do we mean by global civil society? From the word itself, civil. Come on. Okay, how about Kyla? Kyla, what do we mean by global civil society? Kyla? Kyla? Okay, I do not know if I have a problem in terms of my internet or maging kayo, nawawala-wala kayo. Okay, when we say global civil society, it is the innovation of operating in terms of political, social, um, economic economic progress across borders, okay, and beyond the reach of governments, civil or civilized na, industrialized. And we also have here the global demography. When we say global demography, it is the issues or trends in terms of population, different issues. Okay, what are those issues? Okay, like migration, um, the factors that affecting the birth rate, fertility rate, mortality rate, and population growth. Okay, what are the differences between them? When we say population growth, paglobo ng populasyon. Okay? Ilan lahat yung populasyon, total number of people around the world. Birth rate or number of children born, the specific date. Fertility rate, the average number of children of a mother. And here, lastly, the mortality rate or what we call death rate. Okay, the number of people died. Here, we have the classification of the world. Okay, we all know during the Cold War, I already discussed this. Okay? Listen very carefully. After this discussion, we're going to um take the quiz from week 10 to 15. Okay. During the Cold War, leaders all over the globe agreed to classify the world into three categories. We have the first world, second world, and third world. When we say first world, it refers to states that have high income and are capital rich, and often or um, often found in the global north. Okay, we already discussed that. Yung mga mayayamang na bansa. Okay, capital rich. The economy are operated by private sectors, private person and companies. Second world, it refers to former communist socialist industrial states. These are countries under the global south. Okay. Here in the second world, companies are operated by the government. And lastly, third world, it refers to nations not aligned with either first world or second world, which are also called developing countries. Okay, we already discussed that. And our country, Philippines, India are examples of this third world. Okay, halo-halo na. Naririnig niyo na ako, may bagong pasok, hindi pa sila nag-a-appear. Bakit kaya? Okay.
Tatlo pa lang tayo, ma'am.
Oo nga eh. Nagwawala-wala. Yun yung before, okay? Yun yung before. Yung first world, second world, and third world. Tapos napalitan yon. Dito na sa Western Bloc and Eastern Bloc. Okay, Western Bloc, ito yung United States, NATO and its allies and others. Or ito yung tinatawag na first world. Okay. Eastern Bloc, okay, ito na yung sa tinatawag na South, Global South or Eastern Bloc. The Soviet Union and its satellite states. Okay. This left the United States as the sole remaining superpower of the world. By 1989, the US had military alliances with 50 countries. Therefore, okay, wait, Angelica Asido is entering. Let's wait for a while. I'm checking the attendance. Angelica Asido. Okay, again, after dividing the world into three categories, the first world, second world, and third world, napalitan ito after Cold War na tinatawag. Andito na yung tinatawag na bipolarity of the world's hegemonic powers. Napalitan na siya ng Western and Eastern Bloc. Pag sinabing Western Bloc, ito na yung kasama yung US, NATO, mga allies niya, at yun din yung tinatawag nating Northern Global North. Pag Eastern naman, ito yung Global South, like the Soviet Union and its satellite states. Okay. This left the United States as the sole remaining power of the world. Okay, meron mga hegemonic power. Ito yung belief that a country has more power than the other countries. By 1989, the US had military alliances with 50 countries, therefore bringing to life the American era. As a superpower, the US relied on its strong democracy and capitalist market to promote free market capitalism and further emphasize its global power. However, its success in promoting such market led to the dispersal of power to several other countries. So here are the countries under Western and Eastern Bloc. Okay. Yung Western Bloc, andito sa red. Yung Eastern Bloc, andito sa kulay yellow. Okay. Western Bloc, we have the France, UK, US, Italy. Okay. We have here the Norway, Sweden, Spain, and so on. However, in the Eastern Bloc, the Soviet Union, okay, Poland, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, those are the Eastern Bloc. Okay, post-American world. Okay, according to Fared Zakaria in 2008. Okay, it is illustrated by the diffusion of power states to the other actors. Okay, the diffusion of other power signals the rise of the rest. Kasi nung nawala yung hegemonic power, andito na yung diffusion of power. Kaya umaangat na rin yung iba't ibang mga bansa, which gives other states the power to play roles in the world's economic and political arena. In connection with this, Huntington in 1996 claims that Asian nations are expanding their economic, political, and military strength as a way to show the power they can be able to hold in the world. Thus, the American era, which include the post-American world, refers to a period of power imbalance. Meron ng power imbalance. Okay. Okay. Then napalitan ito ng developed and developing na naman. Ito yung mga countries na yun. Developed, nasa first and second world. At yung mga developing na tinatawag or underdeveloped is yung nasa third world. Okay. Okay. Physical and human geographies develop, the world is becoming connected. Okay. And this connection or connectedness of nations, ethnicities, and states is the new trend in the international arena. Civilization become global civilizations, pangkalahatan, hindi lang sa isang bansa. Kaya nga, developing na rin yung mga ibang bansa. Through the rising global civilizations, the world has turned into multipolar power. Okay? That is the words of Samuel Huntington. Mamaya, maano natin kung ano ba yung mga yun. Okay, here mayroon tayong developing countries. Pag sinabing developed, okay, are countries that have progressive economies and advanced technological infrastructure. While developing countries are low-income countries with less developed industrial bases. Okay? From 3 classification of the world, naging developed and developing na lang. Okay? Kasi rise the rest nga. Okay? Yung mga nasa baba noon, unti-unti na rin umaangat. The 2 types of countries emerge to highlight the economic inequalities of states, and these inequalities pushes the people living in developing countries to seek better opportunities in developed countries. That's why we already have the OFWs. They are looking for economic progress for their families, for better opportunities. That's why they move or they migrate from our country to other countries. Okay? From developing countries, pumupunta sa mga developed countries, sa mga Western Bloc or tinatawag nating Global North. Okay. It motivates them to move from one country to another to attain the ways of living they are aspiring for. And this ongoing movement of people from one country to another is what we call migration. Okay. We have here, okay, yung sinabi ni Samuel Huntington, the rivalry of superpower is replaced by the clash of civilizations. In this new world, the most pervasive, important, and dangerous conflict will not be between social classes, rich and poor, and other economically defined groups, but between people belonging to different cultural entities. Okay, it's not about the level of way of life, but also the different cultural entities. Okay. Okay. According to Huntington, global civilization are divided into the following categories. We have Western Latin American, Islamic, Scenic, Hindu, Buddhist, Orthodox, Japanese, and African. At present, people from these global civilizations constantly move from one place to another just to achieve economic stability. Okay, that is number one. Next is democratic freedom and holistically good life that their home countries may not be able to offer. Okay? Because here in the Philippines, okay, the government cannot provide um, the work of people, the employment. Okay? So our countries might not able to offer this economic stability and democratic freedom, and different factors as well. Okay. There is what we call cosmopolitanism. Okay. This is the adhere or belief in the world state. This is the ideology that all human beings belong to single community as a concept that can be linked to globalization. It began its journey when the world moved towards a single moral community from simply believing that the world could be governed by one state. Okay. It is a belief that there is a hegemonic power na merong mas ahead. Okay. And there are three elements of this concept. We have the individualism, universality, and generality. First, individualism. Cosmopolitanism believes that a human being is the ultimate unit of moral concern. Okay? Universality, it is a belief that all human beings are equal moral worth. And generality, it implies that human beings have necessary concern for each other. It's general. Okay. Thus, understanding the concept of cosmopolitanism requires an in-depth understanding of the role of moral integrity among people. And also through this concept, global city and globalization has come into existence. However, some critics say that it is impossible to transcend moral and cultural aspect of societies on an international level. Migration can be linked to this cosmopolitanism in the way that it enables people to agree on common moral standards. I do not know who is this real Missy 12 wants to enter. Okay, next time use your full name. Okay. Okay. This is standard which is influenced by how different cultures come in contact with one another as people move from one place to another. Okay. In terms of culture. Here there are two types of migration. The internal and international migration. For internal, okay, movement from one place to another in the same country. international from one country to another. Okay, there are factors why people move from one place to another. It is the social inequality, economic depression, and freedom deprivation. These factors are the reasons why cosmopolitan ideas exist. Okay, it's about moral and culture. They occur at present, and since the concept of cosmopolitanism at least the equality and moral integrity among men, it plays a role in why people migrate. Okay. It is clear that migration is and will always be a trend. Some experts say migration also has its own catalyst, for it fuels the population growth of a region or a country. Internal migration is also known as the local migration and has always been driven by economic sustainability. Like here, people from different provinces move to Manila because there are lots of work opportunities, okay, or economic sustainability that their province may not be offered. In the midst of globalization, nations around the world engage in trade to promote and strengthen relationships among them. There is no global government that could govern all nations. Okay? Take note of that. According to Henry Now in 2009, transnational relations exist in the present world because countries trade with one another and populations move across state boundaries, or what we call migration. Okay? Due to transnational relations and growing demand for economic wealth, migration exists. Okay. What is migration? It is a form of social behavior that both shapes and is shaped by broader social and economic structures and processes of transformation. That is according to the International Migration Institute in 2011. Migration is not only rooted in economic aspirations but also in political motivations. That is from Boswell 2000. Again, there are three categories of global migration: voluntary economic migration, forced displacement, and refugee crisis. Okay. Voluntary economic migration, the first one, is rooted in the pursuit of economic stability. Okay, ito yung mga OFW na nangingibang bansa, pumupunta sa iba't ibang region of Asia or somewhere na nasa developed countries. Okay? Okay. Especially itong mga pumupunta, nagma-migrate to other countries or some regions of Asia, kabilang tayo doon, and also Africa. Okay, people from these regions move to the other countries which have steadily growing labor markets and can provide them high salary. Okay, this kind of migration is illustrated by the OFW. The second and third categories, the first displacement and refugee crisis, on the other hand, refer to how people are forced to migrate. Bakit kaya? According to Boswell in 2002, forced displacement and refugee crisis could be traced by the factors of state tyranny or corruption, or fear of violence such as civil war. Okay? Or it could also be calamity. Okay? Different scenarios. Okay? Kaya sila pinipilit na mag-migrate or pumunta sa isang ibang lugar. Okay, to sum it up, there are several effects of migration in a particular country. Okay, there are different scenarios and different factors why people migrate. Migration plays a vital role in the social, economic, and political aspects of the Philippines. With the country reliant on labor export, OFWs are seen to be major economic drivers of the country. Okay, they affect the economic sustainability of the country through the remittances. Okay? Kaya na-achieve ng family nila yung aspirations nila in terms of economic In addition, this is also reason why a country's foreign policy focuses on labor export. Another effect of migration in the Philippines is the brain drain. In 2009, the Philippine Institute of Development studies found out that 50% employed Filipino immigrants have tertiary education, nagtapos ng college, 50%. Pero sa 50% na yon, 14.6% are managers and professionals. Okay, ganun porsyento lang. 26.6% out of 50% are working as technicians and clerks. And the rest of the 50%, may bawas na yung 14.6 and 26.6, are operators known as service workers according to DOSA and the Beta 2009. These are the references. Do you have any question? May mga tanong pa? Again, kindly open your camera. Mag-screenshot muna tayo. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Open your cam, Angelica. After this meeting, I'll already post yung ating yung quiz natin. Take the quiz until 4 p.m. Okay, that is 50 items. Okay, i-focus mo yung camera sa mukha mo, Gina. Okay, thank you. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, another one. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I hope, si Kayla pumapasok, si admit natin kasama siya sa picture para dumami-dami naman tayo. Let's wait for her. Okay, hi Kayla, kindly open your cam. Kayla, kindly open your cam. Let's take a picture. Okay. Kayla, open your cam. Okay, Jean. Okay. Nag-picture na kami, isa pa kasama ka, Kayla. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I hope you learned even just a little bit from the discussion today. Okay? Kasama yun sa quiz nyo, ha? At yung exam, again, cover to cover. Yes?
Thank you po. Goodbye.
Thank you, Jean. Goodbye, everyone. And God bless.